Hey everyone, welcome to Logan's Mosh Pit. Glad to have you here. Today we're going to do another episode of the Breaking Down Songs series, the place where we take a closer look at some of my favorite songs from all kinds of different bands and analyze the lyrics, because when we do that, we gain a deeper appreciation for the music we listen to. If there's a specific band you guys want me to cover in a future video, please let me know in the comments section down below. If I like the band and I'm pretty familiar with their discography, I'll probably do them. Today, we're going to talk about Dirty Honey, the band led by Winnie the Pooh. Just kidding. Dirty Honey is actually a recently formed rock band. They released their stupendous self-titled EP last year. I consider them to be a throwback band because their lead singer has an absolutely extraordinary voice. Just remarkable. His voice would fit right in with the 70s rock music scene. Felt like he belonged there. To me, his voice sounds like a combination of Robert Plant, Steven Tyler, and Axl Rose. He has the strengths from all those singers in his voice. He has an unbelievable vocal range and even better screams. Dirty Honey also proves the skeptics wrong, those who think rock and roll are dead. Gene Simmons. Anyway, I feel like them and, along with Greta Van Fleet, they have really kept rock and roll alive. They're responsible for rock and roll thriving. They keep it going. So Dirty Honey has incredible potential moving forward, as long as they stick to the same formula they've shown us with their EP. If they keep releasing the same type of songs, I think they can go far. So this is the part where I would normally share with you my favorite song from my top 5 albums by a certain band. However, since Dirty Honey only has that one EP, I obviously can't do that. It was really an easy decision for me to figure out which song I liked the best. I made my decision quickly. The song I picked was Heartbreaker. So that's the song we're going to analyze today. Talk about what the lyrics mean section by section. I left a link in the description to Heartbreaker if you want to listen to it. Go ahead. But before we do that, I want to give you guys some background on the outstanding Dirty Honey EP. Like I said, it was released last year in March 2019. You had the singles When I'm Gone and Rolling Sevens. Rolling Sevens seems like the most popular Dirty Honey song, just based on the view count. There's no hard data to back that up. I just went through and noticed Rolling Sevens had the highest view count, so I assume that's the song most fans like the best. You might not know that their EP was actually self-released by the band. They didn't sign with any record label. They did it completely on their own. They had no help, which was a risky move. However, they later became the first unsigned band to ever, in history, top the Billboard mainstream rock songs chart with the song When I'm Gone. So that was a really impressive feat. Showed they were the real deal. I actually discovered Dirty Honey in November. I wish I discovered them sooner. They soon became one of my favorite rock bands. Definitely one of my favorite, more recent rock bands. So I was happy that I discovered them. It seems like their fan base is growing pretty quickly. I've noticed their subscribers and follower count on various social media has grown exponentially since they formed. So they're attracting a lot of attention. I don't have any problem recommending Dirty Honey to my friends and family. I tell as many people as I can about Dirty Honey. They haven't gained a lot of exposure yet, but it seems like once people finally listen to Dirty Honey for the first time, they instantly feel excited about it. So now let's go over the lyrics themselves. Before we do that, just keep in mind this is my interpretation of the lyrics. This is just my opinion. My opinion might be different from yours. That's okay. We all hear these songs differently. There's no right or wrong answer, so let's respect each other's opinions. Luckily, this song was pretty straightforward. You didn't have to think a lot to figure out what this song means, so that's good. Here we go, starting off with verse 1. It goes, "You tell me that you need me in the dead of the night, only to deceive me in my worried mind. But if you take my shackles off," so it leaves you hanging there, leaves you wondering what will happen next. Well, verse 1, as the title suggests, clearly this song is about being stuck in a one-sided relationship. You're trapped there. You can't get out. You give up everything for someone who pretends to love you but doesn't genuinely mean it. They have you fooled. Also talks about the difference between words and actions. Someone might say something, but they don't necessarily mean it. Their actions tell a different story. So actions are more important. If that doesn't match, it can leave some doubt in your mind. In this song, the person, he or she, feels like they can't leave the relationship and move on with their life because they still feel a connection with this person. They still love them despite how they get treated. So they use that as an excuse to justify the treatment they receive. They know it's horrible, but they don't want to accept it because of their feelings for the person. Their love makes them blind to the truth. So let's get to the chorus. The chorus says, "I'd see you're just a heartbreaker, what you do to me. A heartbreaker, what you do to me, baby, please." So the chorus picks right up where verse 1 left off. The chorus, again, reflects being blind to the truth, even if it's right in front of you. Sometimes you can't see it. Sometimes you just don't want to accept it, even though you know deep down what the truth means. You choose not to believe it. It shows if they listened to logic or looked at their situation objectively or from a neutral point of view, they would realize that they should get out of that relationship. It's not healthy for them. They would understand the way their partner has treated them isn't right. Still, since they love the person, they continue to accept that pain. They keep going through it. They feel like they still owe their partner something. He or she doesn't want to move on. They want to stay where they are, even if it hurts them. So now let's get to verse 2. "And everybody's talking about how you did me wrong. Every lie you told me is gonna come undone. But when I throw you to the curb like an old burned cigarette." Interesting comparison there. Really like that line. So verse 2 is the point where they finally understand the truth. They start realizing that the way they were treated wasn't fair. It talks about how they're planning to take advice they heard from other people close to them that care about their well-being, and break away from that toxic relationship. They want to get out of that relationship and start over, make a fresh start, find someone who actually cares about them, who treats them like they should. I can't get over that comparison between the failed relationship and the burned out cigarette. sometimes love's like that. Sometimes you're in a relationship where you can't get any use out of that relationship. It's pointless to try to make it work because you can't light a burned out cigarette. It's useless. It doesn't serve any purpose. Same thing here. If you're in a toxic relationship, there's only so much you can do to turn it around before you just give up hope. You realize that someone won't change, so you're forced to take action. So that's pretty deep stuff. Then we get back to the chorus. Then the post-chorus and the bridge. The post-chorus says, "Take me out of my misery, said baby please." Notice all the repetition here. Then the bridge, "You've got me burning up inside, suffocating on all your lies." To me, I think those parts symbolize how he or she is trying to get a point across. They're elaborating on the pain they went through in this fragile relationship, trying to make you understand the pain that their partner gave them, try to make things more clear to the listener, describe it in a way they get. Then we get back to the chorus one more time. Then finally the outro. The outro goes, "Been running around my mind, and I'm wondering where you've been, and everybody's talking about how I'll never see you again. Been running around my mind, and I'm wondering where you've been. You're just a heartbreaker, a heartbreaker, heartbreaker, heartbreaker." Ends on a pretty ominous note. So the outro shows that even though they've moved on with their life, even though they've gotten away from that person they talk about in the song, they still regret to a certain degree the choice they made to move on. He or she still thinks about their ex, wonder if they could salvage the relationship in some way. They wonder if they made the right choice at all. It doesn't feel like they did. But when you miss someone, you have to remember the reason why you left. How you were forced to abandon them and go somewhere else. That makes you, it doesn't take away the pain, but numbs it, knowing that you had a good reason for leaving. So when you first do it, you won't accept it as the right choice. Then later on you understand that you did make the right choice. You gotta look out for yourself. With certain people, no matter how much of a bond you have with them, no matter how long you've known them, it doesn't matter. They can still turn their back on you, they can still betray you. So you gotta do what's best for yourself, even if that means leaving them behind. So now let's go over the mood real quick of the song. What kind of mood do you feel while you listen to Heartbreaker? Well, surprisingly comfortable. This song feels comfortable because you can tune out the world when you listen to Dirty Honey. It also becomes addictive. You crave more of Dirty Honey after you listen to this song. You wish there were more Dirty Honey songs to listen to. Unfortunately, there's only 5. It's easy to get lost in this band. All the key elements are there that you expect from a tremendous song. Now let's go over the most memorable line. The themes. The themes are obviously heartbreak. Plain as day. You can clearly see the song is about heartbreak. How love can distort your view of the truth. You don't realize the truth even if it's right in front of you. This doesn't just apply to romantic relationships. It can be with any type of a relationship you go through in your life. It can be with family, friends, whatever. This song represents all types of relationships. How you're not willing to accept the truth. You keep using love as an excuse for letting people hurt you. That's not fair. Then it talks about how the right choice, another theme, seems to be crazy at first. Then, like I said earlier, later on you realize that the choice you made benefited you. Even though you didn't think so at first, later you realize that you made the right choice. You did what was best for you by letting go of something that hurt you. The final theme has to be, you got to be careful about who you let in your life. You never know when someone will turn against you. It can happen really easily. So you got to be careful about who you let into your inner circle. Just be cautious about that. Now, I was trying to jump ahead earlier, but let's get to the most memorable line. Well, to me, the most memorable line comes from verse 1. At the very end, it says, "But if you take my shackles off." I think that's a compelling comparison, comparing being in a broken relationship to being a prisoner of some sort. You feel like you want to escape, you want that freedom, but at the same time, you're stuck. You feel like you owe the person something. You feel like he or she does have your best interest in mind. You feel like they're worth hanging on to. Then later you realize that you had it all wrong. Sometimes relationships can feel like being a prisoner. The only way to get your freedom is to leave them behind, make a fresh start, move on with your life. So, I'm a big fan of that line. Now let's go over the strengths and weaknesses of Heartbreaker. Well, the biggest strength has to be the nostalgia factor. Especially, I think this song will resonate more with people who grew up listening to 70s and 80s rock. It captures that vintage rock feel from back in the day. It'll probably make them smile, realizing there's still good rock music out there. It's not dead, it still lives on. So, I think Dirty Honey appeals to all ages. Then, another amazing feat is the lyrics themselves. The lyrics are an enigma. They're clear, simple, yet at the same time, they're clever and meaningful. Easy to understand, but also deep. Gives you food for thought. Finally, the last strength is continuity. What I mean by that is how everything is woven together so intricately. You got all the basics that a great song needs to be successful. Nice vocals, amazing riff, good drumming, nice atmosphere, perfect length, not too long or short. You got a topic that people will relate to, everything you could want. So Dirty Honey nailed the basics. They got everything right. Excuse me. So if they stick to this formula, I think they'll find a lot of success. So the only weakness that I noticed from Heartbreaker doesn't necessarily have to do with the song, more to do with the band themselves. This isn't even the band's fault. It happens to every new band, but they have a limited audience right now. They're not exceptionally popular yet. So the song, unfortunately, remains unknown to a lot of people. Sadly, not many people follow Dirty Honey yet. The more we recommend Dirty Honey to them, the bigger their following will get. It takes time in the music industry to establish yourself as a credible band, a band worth listening to. Dirty Honey has made huge strides since they released their EP, but they still have a long way to go. They're pretty interactive though on social media. I've noticed their fan base has gotten a lot bigger since they started, so I think once they release a full-length album, probably within the next year or two, I think their fan base will get much bigger. So it's nothing to worry about. Finally, on a scale from 1 to 10, how replayable is this song? How often are you going to want to come back to it again? I would give it 10 out of 10, through the roof. Or, since we're talking about Dirty Honey, how about on a scale from sticky to sweet? Sweet all the way. Like I said, this song has something for everyone. It appeals to older fans and fans around my age. It makes you feel good when you listen to this song. There's a certain craving that this song creates in you when you listen to it. You don't fully understand it, but you want more from the band. It whets your appetite. You want to hear more. So, I can't say enough good things about Dirty Honey. I think they're going to be around for a long time. I think they're going to become a household name. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. They've got all the pieces there they need to be successful. So that does it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate the support. I'll see you next time. Until then, rock on.